welcome. You're watching NewsX. My name is Gauri Kundalia. Now, NFTs have taken India and the world by a storm this year. The NFT market generated over 23 billion in trading volume in 2021 itself. Several celebrities and brands joining the bandwagon in launching their collectibles. The NFT craze has become a hot topic in the digital currency space. The hype in cryptocurrencies also resulted in a boom for NFT market globally. Now, India has seen 3 new marketplaces emerge for the selling of NFTs. What does this boom mean, and how can India tap into the massive scope that comes along with it? Now, we're going to understand it with a panel of guests. We have with us creators, collectors, artists who will help us through this conversation. Ramesh Gopal is joining us. He's a creator, collector, and blockchain developer. He's on the broadcast with us. Angad Bisodi is also with us. He is an artist and co-founder of Colors of India DAO. Also with us on the broadcast is Simran Vahan. She is an NFT artist and collector. Girish Kumar Ahirwar also joins us. He's the co-founder and director of Mercado NFT Marketplace. Welcome to the show. But before we go on to our guests, let's just discuss some numbers which will help us put things into perspective. Now, we have a few numbers for you, and we will be talking about it. Now, in 2021 itself, $23 billion trading volume was generated just by NFTs, out of which $8 million were in Jan 2021 itself. So that was the trade that was done in Feb 2021. Let's talk about it. $95.2 million. 21.73 million as of 2021 was the total trade as far as NFT market cap is concerned, and total sales were at $165,348. These are some of the figures which just tell you how big this whole NFT game is and how these non-fungible tokens are taking everybody by a storm. These were numbers, of course, from across the globe. We don't have as much data for India just yet, but we have artists and creators and collectors from India who will help us understand what their expectations are from the upcoming union budget as well, what they think is the way to go forward as far as this particular space is concerned. Ramesh, if I could start with you first. You're a creator, collector, and blockchain developer. Now, help us put things into context. Now, what exactly are NFTs for our viewers who are not quite familiar with it, and how do you see the space in the next, let's say, 1 year? Ramesh, could you just unmute yourself, please?
Could you repeat a question?
All right, so my question was, help our viewers understand what exactly NFTs are, especially those who are not familiar with it, and where do you see the space in the next, let's say, 1 year?
Okay, I mean, I'll try to make it as simple as possible. NFTs are sort of like, non-fungible tokens. That's the actual, full form. So imagine NFTs as a digital, digital identity or digital music. It could be art, it could be anything. So imagine anything that is non-fungible in the sense which cannot be replicated, cannot be duplicated, imagine it's just like your fingerprint. So they can't exist more than one of those exact same things. So for example, there can be a lot of for example, currencies that you have multiple versions of. For example, the rupees, 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 3 rupee. It can be it can be duplicated, and many of us can own 1 rupee. But non-fungible tokens are exactly those very unique properties. It could be your property. It could be like your fingerprints or something like that. So I see NFTs going a long way. It's definitely here to stay, and apparently, like I think you've already mentioned, the current status of NFTs in the world. It's close to $10-20 billion, and it could go up to $60 billion in a couple of years from now. Yeah.
Okay, that's very fascinating. Now, Girish, now since we have a little bit of context as to what they are, help us understand the potential of growth that this particular sector holds, especially given the marketplace you run, and using that as a context to understand, let's say, where we can see the sector in the next 5 years.
Yeah. So see, last year, the numbers you are saying is pretty much correct. And those has been just the speculation of all the different kind of artwork, the NFTs which were having no use also, they were just hiking up. right? So right now these NFTs, so I would like to add on to the explanation given to Ramesh. So NFTs are the digital ownership
Right.
of any kind of digital file, and slowly the real life assets like land, car, and many things like watches, some artifacts would be on NFTs, which will be the digital validation that you own it, and that's you, the unique owner of it. You can track how where it is originated from, who created it, and what it was bought at, and how it will transfer ahead, and what is the offer right now to buy that NFT, right? That can represent any physical artwork, digital artwork, music, photo, video, animation. And what we are coming up with is managing all the creators, enabling them to create those NFTs and extend to the blockchain universe, so that the creators can manage their royalties, profits under no one's supervision except the blockchain, which is a trustless system and works on the code. So yeah, I think this year a lot of utilities will come upon it, where buying a NFT can help you to get different access. You can own like creators NFT, you can invest into those NFTs by buying some tokens and get the profit out of it. Or any so people are still working around the utilities in the future projects in metaverse. So if you buy an NFT right now, maybe you get a access to the something which is coming couple of years later. So a lot of things are created around this, and we are launching so many different collections, bringing utilities to it, and working with creators to educate them and adopt this new technology to take care of their creation and become the owner of it.
Right, okay. So Angad on the broadcast also runs a similar platform. Angad, how exactly is it done? How are these collections put together? How are they then put on sale? How can creators actually put their work online? How does it work?
Sure. So just to clarify, Colors of India, that is something that I have co-founded. It is not a platform. It is a collective of artists,
Right.
and
Okay.
is a decentralized autonomous organization. But I apologize for digressing. To answer your question, putting together a project for the NFT space today is something that, while we're still just about waking up to it here in India, it is something that is already almost a phase that has passed in the global sort of marketplace. There are a lot of people. So just to give you a bit of a chronological sort of way of how things have gone. About a year and a half ago, you were getting news of things as ridiculous as an MP3 file of somebody farting being sold, because that was what you would maybe call a bubble, right? That was when it was fun. Anything someone was putting out as an NFT was selling for a laugh and a song and for a lot of money. Over the course of 2020, a lot of creators came into the NFT space from all over the world. And at this point, you started seeing some more, I don't want to say serious art, because all art is serious art on some level, but you started seeing a lot more thought, a lot more intentionality behind what these projects were. And what has been happening towards the latter part of the year is seeing the kind of money that is being sort of moved around and that is sort of being generated by these projects. You're now actually getting larger corporations, people like Adidas, people like Adidas and Prada just did a drop very recently. You have a whole lot of what we now call Web 2 enterprises with big money coming in with a lot of strategy, with a lot of marketing, with a lot of, planning to put these projects out. Of course, that's a bit of an interesting topic in itself, because Web3 is supposed to be a place where these things should not really matter, and people coming in with big money should not really get to call the shots like they do outside of Web3. But I will not get into that. To answer your question, there's a lot of projects that are now coming out, and the thing to look out for, as Girish mentioned as well, is to see what's happening in the metaverse, which is already being developed today. So even for people watching, if you're trying to get into the NFT space, I would highly recommend look 2 steps forward, look at what's happening in the metaverse, because NFTs are eventually just the utility for the metaverse.
Correct. Okay. So earlier in the day, we also spoke about AR, VR, metaverse. We spoke about augmented reality, virtual reality. So it is very exciting. We have an artist with us also on the broadcast. She's been an artist for years and years together, but now she's ventured into the NFT space. Simran, how's your experience been? What's changed for you since you started? You were introduced to, let's say, NFTs.
My life, well, that's close to 20 years, and I've been in the NFT space for 5 months. So the fact that my art has gone from physical to me selling a digital piece of work to someone half across the world and appreciating and getting to know the artist because they know me and I get to know them, the collector. Also, like Girish mentioned, because I'm an abstract artist and I'm also an art therapist, I add the utility that you can, once you collect my piece, you get a 30 minutes of art therapy session with me. So people are excited about the fact that they can literally sit across, their screen and have an art therapy session and paint along with me. So I think that is also something. There is a human touch to it, although it's all digital. But the fact that as an artist, people are getting to know who I am. Although I'm in India, there's someone, sitting in Canada who's picked up my work, and someone sitting in Sweden who's picked up my work, and they may not even know that I had existed before the NFT space came into being. And I think that's very important as an artist because we're always looking for, in some way or the other, we're looking for validation, in the real life. And the fact that NFT has changed our lives. My mandalas are out there, my abstract art is out there. And I've been doing this for years. But now, because of the NFT space, I've probably gone 5 notches above, and that's made a huge difference.
Okay, very interesting, Simran. Stay on with us. Ramesh, if I could come back to you rather. We've been talking about very innovative things here as a part of our budget programming, things which involve tech, Web 3.0, metaverse, augmented reality, NFTs, crypto, blockchain. How important, Ramesh, is it for the government now to consider that these will be the key drivers of economic growth in the future, and they need to be taken into consideration when things like budget, etc., are concerned?
Very, very interesting question, and it's a very valid question, especially at this point of time. So, the young people of India are driving into these, technologies, and, they're reluctant for the one fact because, the government of India is still deciding what to do with crypto in general and what to do with the blockchain space. And, it's not speeding up like every other country that we see around. And, especially China and every neighboring countries are taking advantage of this specific technology, driving, in, and, you see every other country is actually doing something or the other to help, develop or build, the blockchain space. And because everyone knows that it's the next best thing. And, eventually even, right now, if you've seen, a lot of the young Indians are, trying to understand the space better. They're trying to learn and, get into NFTs, get into metaverse and everything. So I really would love it if, the Indian government considers, the blockchain technology, the NFTs, and crypto, and just don't look at the bad side. It's the same with any kind of currencies for that matter. But look at the underlying technology as more of something that's going to help India a lot in terms of even financially, in terms of even technically, in terms of helping the providing jobs. I mean, imagine the NFT space, metaverse is going to bring up so much job and opportunities for young Indians, and I think now is the best time to take advantage and try to learn the technology instead of just trying to push it. And I think that's the best way to do it.
Okay, very interesting. Now, Girish, as Ramesh also said, the government is still trying to figure out how to navigate and maneuver this particular space. But were you an advisor, or were it up to you? What would you do, and what would you recommend should be done as far as these emerging technological spaces are concerned, be it NFTs, cryptos, blockchain, etc.?
So see, ultimately NFT and tokenization is the future, right? So ultimately, if that's the future, the government should onboard some of the experts, understand how this technology is making easy, how it is making life easy, better, efficient, and more productive, and less management on the real world, and so that we can focus on the things. Like every time the digitization have been happening, so the government has evolved over the time, so they should not wait for a longer time and just quickly get some spur. I think there are some founders who are reaching out to policymakers, trying to convince them, make them understand how this technology is gonna evolve. So it should not that government should take a step back. They should understand, get some people on board and get along with it.
Right. Angad, as far as technology is concerned, a lot of times India. Okay, Girish, I think you're muted. If you're trying to make a point, just unmute yourself. Okay, I believe we have some audio connection issue with Girish. But Angad, if I could come to you, India has pretty much been on the cutting edge of technology many times. Now, even when you see things like simple things like digitization, digital payments, we are ahead of some of the more developed countries, if I may say so. In that sense, where are we in terms of the NFT space? You said we are at a very elementary stage right now. What exactly is the comparison? Angad.
I think with the NFT space, we haven't even scratched the surface. If you look at the number of crypto wallets that exist in India, and compare that to the number of people who are actually investing in NFTs or are in this space, we've not even scratched the surface. Having said that, when you look at blockchain technology, we have some of the biggest unicorns in the world emerging from India. I mean, if you look at Polygon and Matic,
correct,
they're one of the largest and fastest growing blockchains in the world. Most of the metaverse is building its utility on Polygon, and what we really need from the government is for them to champion, projects and emerging sort of technology giants like Polygon and so many others who are actually creating stuff that the whole world is turning to. But there is this almost fear mongering going on because of the, I think to some extent it is because people are only looking at the cryptocurrency aspect of the blockchain and of Web3. And sadly, that is only the entryway to what is happening, right? The underlying technology, as I'm sure Ramesh will be able to sort of go better into as a blockchain dev. Eventually, we are going to be, our digital existence, our digital fingerprint, like I think Ramesh said in the beginning, is going to be on the blockchain. It is going to be our only identity. When we're on Web3, that is how people know who we are. That is how and that is a very transparent way of knowing how we are,
right,
who we are, where we were born, or whatever information there is out there. So when we're actually heading towards that, I feel like we really need to, the government really needs to support all of these projects that are coming out of India. To be honest, like an analogy I was discussing with someone earlier is this is the first time that Indian art, Indian creators, generally like sort of developers and people like that are being able to access projects from all over the world. Like Simran pointed out, she's selling to people in Sweden or Canada, or I myself have had exhibitions in Rome, in Hong Kong, sitting here just sending the link to a JPEG, and getting paid to do this. If anything, we kind of need to sort of look at the government giving, like they did for a lot of export manufacturing back in the day. I feel like they need to be supporting what's happening right now rather than trying to put some fear in people's minds. I actually feel like the narrative that is being built around crypto and around Web3 is a lot of misunderstanding.
Right. Okay, so that is the challenge here then, that there is a lot of misunderstanding. People are only looking at one aspect of it, but there's a lot more to it than just crypto or cryptocurrencies or crypto wallet. Okay, if I could quickly do expectations for tomorrow. Simran, any expectations of the government as far as this NFT space is concerned? Any concerns you have that you hope that they will be addressed?
Mentioned, there's a lot of fear, and including even in my people around me and my family, there is a lot of fear. So I think they need to really take that fear away from people and realize that this is the new generation. Like, this is the new thing, and this is going to be the normal which you've got to start living with. And because for artists, it's very important. Because I don't have to go to a gallery. I can sit in my room at my table, create art endlessly, and put it across the world. Because like I've been doing jewelry mandalas that are inspired by Indian jewelry. Now, that is something where I am promoting my country's culture on a global platform, which is good for the country because people get to know I've done different kinds of jewelry, whether it's kundan or jarao or different, Tanjore paintings. There's so many of these, which actually the world needs to know. And as a country and as a government, we need to look at this as an opportunity for, especially for artists and for our people and for the creative youth of the country. That's, I think, very important because the next generation, we have young kids, we have teenagers who are already in the NFT space because they're becoming independent now. They know I've got to work, I've got to create art, I've got to put it up on the blockchain, and I'm going to, somewhere down the line become independent of all, where I'm going in life. So I think that's very important. Education about the NFT space is, I think that's something that I really, really expect now in going forward.
Right, and I believe that whenever a disruptive technology comes to the fore, there is fear, there is apprehension. I'm sure it happened when the internet was launched, and look where we are now. Ramesh, your expectations of the government, do you think this will be addressed tomorrow? And if yes, what are your expectations?
To be honest, the government is definitely doing something in the back end, I'm pretty sure, in terms of even, educating the government staffs. In fact, I myself did, did workshops on blockchain for government employees. Apart from that, I'd really like the government to take steps in terms of regulating the place instead of completely banning it and giving this uncertainty to people. And it's a technology and you have to embrace it, you have to understand it, and that'll in fact if you do it right, it will actually help the country in a better way. Also, I feel like I think eventually everyone is going to get into the blockchain and understand it, just like in the internet, the devices, the mobile devices, etc. And also, there's in fact every company is trying to get a piece of the blockchain and trying to get a piece of NFTs. That you see big brands getting into NFTs, and that is the signal. That's the exact signal you require for everyone to understand, because they've done the research. They know how big impact this could, what potential the blockchain space and the NFT space has, and it's going to be big. I really like the government to support educational, especially like if you've seen a lot of communities right now, for example, Colors of India, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. And in fact, Angad would give you a better understanding in terms of how they go about educating creators, bringing in a lot more artists and creators, and from the traditional space. And it doesn't matter who you are, you can all, and you'd be surprised to see how kind and supportive the community is in the NFT space. They're very supportive. They try educating everyone how they should go about minting a work, or putting up their work on the blockchain. And that's what I'd like the government to take the initiative to support all the the creators and collectors, and also just the technology itself.
Okay, all right. Completely running out of time. Angad, last 30 seconds, your expectations tomorrow.
I will keep it very brief. Clarity. Give us clarity so that we know how to innovate and bring this space to the country, because this is a technology that is undeniably the future. If the government gives clarity, it helps us educate more people the right way to bring them on.
Perfect. Okay, all right. Thanks to all our guests for joining us on this broadcast. It is, of course, an upcoming space which not all of us understand very well. The government is trying to do so as well. Thanks to all our guests for joining us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.